bullets, baby.
This is beyond fairy tale. It's inconceivable.
There it is. Doyle's done it.
Skate steps into poker history.
This is the greatest sport in the world.
There are many things to love about the main event.
Show me the money.
And above all, there's this. Anyone can win. Just ask the mathematician turned poker pro, Chris Ferguson.
It changed my life. And once you're a world champion, you're always a world champion.
Or the patent attorney turned fossil man, Greg Raymer.
This is everyone's moment. Everyone's got a shot.
And who knows, maybe one day the actor turned big stack, Jason Alexander.
Bring Raymer on. Bring them all on. Helmuth, Ivy, bring them on. I'm ready. Let's go.
It's the main event. Anyone can win. Someone will win. But first, they must survive day 2.
Yes, baby. Yes.
Welcome back to the Rio and the 40th Annual World Series of Poker presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. I'm Lon McCarran with Norman Chad. Excitement is in the air as the first of 2 day 2s is about to begin. Indeed, day 2 has brought out many of the game's most entertaining players, including Gavin Smith, the mad genius of poker, Mike Caro.
I'm ready to go.
And Mike the Mouth Matiso. Several former world champions are playing today, including Johnny Chan, the last player to win in back-to-back years, who is short-stacked but hopeful.
Still got a chip in the chair, right?
And the man they call Jesus, who will soon be seated at table 2. Over at our featured table sits yet another world champion, the fossil man himself, who is seated next to a man who is amongst the big stacks in the room. Jason Alexander.
Jason Alexander, part of the Hollywood contingent that's converged on the main event, and Jason can play some.
You're going to learn some things from me today. I think you're going to be very impressed.
I've already been impressed, Jason.
I don't mean sexually. I mean...
No, I didn't either.
Let me tell you something about Jason. He is fast, he can run like the wind, and he's strong. I've seen him lift 100 pounds over his head without knowing it.
That's early Seinfeld knowledge on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky Pocket Cam. Albert Manolan with Queen Jack.
Manolan graduated from Moscow State University. I believe they are the Raging Cajuns.
He is a journalist, 41 years old, and he will raise the action to 1,200 on the 04 world champ, Greg Raymer, King 9. He lays it down. Jason Alexander, Queen 10 of spades.
You wouldn't know it to look at him, but Jason can bait a hook.
The 49-year-old actor was raised in Livingston, New Jersey. He calls. Action now on John Eaton. Pocket 4s, lives here in the Las Vegas area.
I ran into a fellow playing in the main event, Scott Venner, and he came up with a new hand name. He calls Pocket 4s the Obama in honor of our 44th president.
Oh, very nice. We'll see if that sticks. 3 players will go to the flop. Got a journalist, a pro, and an actor. The flop 7, 6, king, 2 spades. Jason with the best chance to win with a flush draw. Eaton has the best hand with the pocket 4s. Eaton checked. Manolan now bluffs at it.
The flop was a swing and a miss for Manolan, but he's swinging for the fences with that bet.
2,600 to Jason Alexander. He's going to stick around and try to catch a 5th spade.
Well, I would have been impressed if actually Jason raised there on the draw. This hand would be over.
Eaton will fold. He folded the best hand, so heads up. Manolan and Alexander to the turn. Turn card is a queen. That pairs both. Manolan leads, though, with a better kicker. Action on Manolan.
I bet your fossil man can't bait a hook.
Manolan checks. Jason is going to put pressure on his opponent. 5,000. Manolan makes the call.
Behind the shades, Manolan has Jason in his sights.
Both players with a pair of queens. Manolan with the better kicker. Now the river card. It is a 10. That hits Jason. He gets the check mark with queens up. Manolan again first to act. He checks again.
Jason says his best poker quality is his poker face, and he credits that to being an actor.
Comes out with a nice bet. 9,000, almost half the pot.
Manolan getting 3-1 on a call here. Jason also has good poker arms.
Manolan reaching for chips, makes the call. Jason opens up and shows the queens up to take the pot.
I hate when sitcom actors suck out.
You bet when you miss the pot. Good hand.
Jason surprised many by being one of the day one chip leaders, but this actor is not one to be trifled with. He's a man on a poker mission.
Well, Norman, the good news is we can finally put the Groundhog Day feel of the day ones behind us. Bad news is today is just the first of 2 day twos, and the final table is still a very distant dream on the main event horizon.
Well, and that's not bad news. It's fantastic. The fact there's so much poker left leaves me downright stoked. And today's feature table is what I love about this baby. You've got one of the all-time main event performers in Greg Raymer hoping to make another deep run, and George Costanza is standing in his way. You may need serenity now. I say let's double dip and enjoy.
Jason hoping to be master of this domain.
I'll start humming the Flash Gordon song. Like,
Flash. Oh, he saved every one of us.
you saved every man, every woman, a child, land, Flash.
It's Flash Gordon theme.
Fossil Man singing? I've got to draw the line somewhere.
Another player who opened a lot of eyes on day one playing in the field today, Lex Veldhuis. Lex and Aris Haynes are in a hand on the river. Lex bet 5,000. Aris raises it to 10. Lex shows ace 5 and folds 2 pair.
Oh, come on, man. You can't. You.
Aris with aces and
You ain't
queens.
gonna call that. Now, you know I would have called that if that was me. I would have called you.
Like can you just leave me alone or something? Like I'm not saying anything, and you're just.
I know you don't want to say. You can say. You can say something.
You're the guy at tissue. You want a pot.
Hey, look. You ain't got to turn. You shouldn't turn your hand over. Should have kept your hand forward.
I'm sorry. You just play painfully obvious.
Oh, bluff him next time, Lex. Then turn your cards over.
Across the room, another pro who always seems to struggle for every chip he wins, Mike the Mouth Matiso, folding his hand right there.
I do have my patience today, which is a good sign. That's the only good sign I got going today. When I get frustrated, I'm not catching any cards, and I lose my patience, that's when it becomes a bad sign.
He looks like he's about to lose his patience.
At another table, Gus Hansen in better shape. He's got the nuts straight and a big pot on the turn against a set of trays. For Norman Gotron, Gus is checked.
41.
Gotron bets 4,100.
Gotron, a Canadian poker pro.
Hansen with the made straight.
Lon, Gus has 4,939 Facebook friends. Wow. I have 2 acquaintances that I see at 7-Eleven once in a while.
Hansen is going to raise it to 12,100. Gotron raises enough to put Gus all in.
Gus gets what he wants.
And here it is. Gus at risk and way ahead.
Gus all in. He does not want the board to pair.
Oh, but it does. A king on the river gives Gotron a full house, and Gus Hansen is gone.
That was quick.
A quiet, unexpected, and ugly exit for Gus Hansen.
All the chips you got from me on day
2 nice main event runs in a row, but an early exit on day 2 for Gus here. Over at table 2, and a man who knows the feeling of being the last player standing, 2000 world champ Chris Ferguson. He's at the same table as Roland DeWolf, a UK pro who won his first bracelet this year. Roland is watching Chris with pocket jacks go against the ace-queen of Billy Holmes. Chris re-raised, Holmes called the flop 10-10 jack, a full boat for Chris Ferguson.
And Holmes is drawing very, very thin.
Chris started day 2 with just 24,000 chips. He bets out 3,000 here. Holmes comes along.
Chris with just 1 cash in this World Series. Flops like that can turn it around for you.
Turn card is an 8. Ferguson earns the check mark with that full house. Holmes drawing dead now. Chris looks like he wants to keep the pressure on. He bets 7,500.
Holmes drawing dead, but he's picked up a double belly buster straight draw, so he might come along for the ride in the hearse.
Holmes from Seaford, Delaware, in his first World Series of Poker. Taking on a former world champion, he makes the call.
Meanwhile, Chris Ferguson strikes his usual pose. Don't move, don't tell.
River card is a king. Holmes hits Broadway. No doubt that's going to cost him, Norman.
A dream hand for Ferguson and a nightmare for Holmes.
Ferguson first to act. Nearly 30,000 in the pot. He bets enough to put Holmes all in.
Well, there's nothing worse than drawing dead and getting there, Lon. Unless you're drawing dead, you get there, and it is for the rest of your chips. If Holmes makes this call, it is his last call.
The perfect storm here for Holmes if he makes the call, and he does. How can he not? Ferguson shows the full boat, and Holmes is gone.
And as you mentioned, Holmes caught in that perfect storm. Not much you can do about that elimination.
What a way to go out.
Well, always best to get knocked out by a world champ.
Well, after flopping the nuts, Chris Ferguson never tried to slow play that hand. He was fortunate that Billy Holmes had reason to stick around.
Not a bad flop there.
Day 2 of the main event already looking much brighter for Chris Ferguson. Back at the Rio, everyone a step closer to that bracelet.
Chris, how many events did you play in?
35 or something like that.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding. Cashed once, and then made a final table and ante up for Africa. Then
Probably broke even then, didn't he?
yeah, somewhere around there, give or take $250,000.
You know what you should do next year?
No, I have no idea what I should
Play better
do next year. That would help. I'm going to start now. How about this year? How about if I start now?
You can still get out of it on the series.
37.25.
That's true. I can still get even. Plus a little
The World
bit.
Series has been like an ATM for Chris. 2009, not so much, but he'd be the first to explain it was mathematical destiny.
I've had an amazing run here at the World Series over the past 10 years. 5 bracelets, 5 second-place finishes. I don't know how many cash I have. This year hasn't quite lived up to the past years. This year I haven't even come close. I made the money one time. Everybody goes on a bad streak. But I really am looking into what the competition is doing, and the competition is changing. I really think the players are getting a lot better. And a lot of the strategies that I would use against players in the past won't work as well. So I do have to modify my game, but I'm not making any radical changes to it. Losing streaks are a mathematical fact, but that doesn't mean that they're not, psychologically very difficult to deal with. But, you just get up every day, you try again. Eventually it's going to end. Hopefully it'll end during the main event.
Well, here's a mathematical fact. Chris is 3rd all-time in World Series cashes behind Phil Hellmuth and Men the Master.
Elsewhere, to a man who's finished 2nd in the main event twice, Dewey Tomko. He and 2 others saw a flop of ace-5-6, couple of spades. Arthur Pinkasoff just bet $3,500. Dewey raises to $10,000. That gets rid of 1 player. Action on Pinkasoff now. He needs $6,500 to call, and he will, and go heads up with Dewey. Turn card now. 8 of hearts. Tomko first to act.
One more time.
And he moves all in.
When Dewey raises, he usually has a hand.
Pinkasoff calls with a pair of aces, and Dewey does have it. A set of 5s. Pinkasoff drawing dead. Tomko doubles up.
Ship those chips to Dewey Tomko.
54,000 chips. Dewey is a close friend of the Brunson clan. Doyle eliminated on day 1, but his son Todd is in action today and dealing with the unpredictable actor Brad Garrett.
That's an odd couple.
Read my article. Read your article. Wow, look at this. Guns and ammo and place poker. That's a good combination. Have a good game and a rifle. Todd Brunson, so proud of you.
You read it?
I don't read, I have the album. Take it easy, please. All right, Kojak, take it easy, Skipper. There you go, enjoy it. Okay.
Todd picked up a couple of new readers.
That guy got mad because I called him Kojak. I'll get it.
Yeah, he could be Kojak.
Got pissed off.
Why is he whispering? This isn't the Masters.
The 30,000 chip starting stack included chips with denominations from 25 to 5,000. When it's all over, 1 player will own all 195 million chips in play. Jason Alexander doing a good job collecting chips of all colors. Raymer with Queen 10 of hearts.
All right, Jason, put me on tilt now.
He calls for 400.
Raymer under the gun, limps in.
Pocket deuces.
You know what? I'm only going to call you.
Jason just limps as well.
In 2004, Raymer beat a then record field of 2576. This year, 6,494 starters.
Action folds over to Manolan. Queen 9 of diamonds in the small blind.
Manolan was a sports writer for Russia's largest newspaper for 11 years, so we have a lot in common, other than the sunglasses, the way he dresses, and, well, I don't speak Russian.
Manolan makes the call. Jonathan Lewis with 5 deuce offsuit. He checks his option.
I got nothing in common with that guy. Nothing.
4 players to the flop. Flop is 5 queen jack. Raymer with a pair of queens and the best kicker. Manolan, pair of queens, an inferior kicker. Manolan checks. Lewis, 23-year-old pro poker player from Boston, checks with a pair of 5s. Raymer with the best hand bets 1,000. Jason Alexander calls.
That's a quick call for an actor who misses the flop.
Manulin now with the second best pair of queens makes a raise to 3,500. That gets rid of Lewis.
Let me have my 1,000 chip back, please. Don't make change right away, please. Thank you. And then he needs 1,000 too, because he made it 35. I mean, if we wait a few seconds, but not immediately.
Raise.
First he's singing, now he's doing the dealer's job.
Raymer raises the action to 10,000. Jason Alexander exits. Manulin now re-raises all in. Doesn't cost Raymer that much more.
I call.
And he does make the call.
Well, Raymer pushes Manulin to the brink. I got to root for the sports writer. He's like a brother to me.
He needs help to stick around.
Either a 9 or a 10 on the turn's a very interesting card.
Hey, Greg, that's my job. Zip it up.
All right, now the turn card.
King is interesting, too. Now we're cheering for the other card.
Actually, at this point, if the board pairs, they will split the pot and Manulin will survive.
Don't give me 2 pair. Don't give me 2 pair.
Or a 10 on the river gives Manulin a straight, otherwise he's eliminated.
River card. Oh, and there's 2 pair for Greg, which means Manulin gets the winning straight.
Oh, yuck.
Greg takes a small hit. Manulin survives.
The unfun part of poker.
That's the price you pay for singing the Flash Gordon theme earlier.
Bad beats do come with the territory, but Fossil Man with plenty of fight left.
The World Series of Poker presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Main event.
Welcome back to the Rio, proving this is a game for all legal ages. You see the oldest and youngest to ever win the main event and the oldest to ever play in the main event. 96-year-old Jack Urey jumping jacks in a hand right now. After the flop, his grandson Seth Harold by his side.
Love that one.
Jack bets 1,000 on the flop of 667.
You don't want to just get them all in?
In a hand against Steven Friedlander, who moves all in.
You might as well just get them all in.
Hey, don't push around my man, Jack Urey.
Jack gonna make the call. Yeah, puts himself at risk. Friedlander shows a full house. This might be it for Jack Urey.
You're in trouble.
Show us.
He's in trouble right now.
Show us.
Go ahead and turn around.
Turn over.
Turn over.
Show us.
Pocket scores for a better full house.
And Jack Urey will survive this all in unless the last 6 in the deck hits.
That's a 4 on the turn. He's still good. River card's a deuce, and Jack Urey doubles up.
I can't wait until I'm 96 years old, have the best hand, and slow roll some punk half my age. You go, Jack.
Let's catch up with the mad genius of poker, Mike Caro. The river card is out. Mike bets 5,000 into Rick Martis.
Caro wrote the chapter in Doyle Brunson's Super System about draw poker, but this is hold on.
You have to reason this out. There's a queen, there's a 6, there's a 7, there's a 3, and there's a 9. I don't understand it.
Finally, someone with my analytical skills.
Consider the order they came in.
I always look at the order, too.
Well, I have a 7.
Martis folded.
That would have been bad. We probably should have called.
Oh, he's torturing him now.
You may look.
No, if Martis looks, everyone else, we got to see them, too.
Martis doesn't feel good about it.
We got to see them now.
Ah, Caro was bluffing.
It's genius.
I know.
Over to bracelet winner Ellie Alezra's table. Ellie saw a flop but folded after retired boxer Keely Madrid and Cameron Shashuri bet. After the river, Shashuri bets only 400.
I guess this would be an easy call then. I call. I got queens. Queens.
Shashuri is wearing the drapes from my old bachelor pad.
That's a winner?
Shashuri will give it up, and Madrid will win. Well, take it easy, Keely. You just won the round, not the fight.
As a pro boxer, Keely was 8-0 with 4 knockouts.
Back to the featured table now.
Walk like a man. Talk like
Still
a
singing?
man.
That's unfortunate.
Can you hit the high notes good?
I can, not like that though.
You can't do the. You can't hit like the walk like a man.
You can do it. The trick is doing it with power.
Oh no, I can't do that.
Walk
I can't.
like a man. Talk like a man.
Can Frankie Valli sue these guys?
But the guy that does the show has to be able to zing it out there. Even with the microphone, he's got to put it out there.
I think that made.
I mean, Fossil Man's got it shut down.
Greg Raymer with one big score already in this World Series, wearing the same stone necklaces he wore during his main event victory.
The entire chip.
Jack 10 offsuit, a raise to 1,000.
Raymer gives some great advice. He simply says, play every hand as well as you can.
Ace 9 offsuit for Alexander. He'll come along.
Well, already Jason's not playing this hand as well as he could. He should have raised from the button.
26-year-old Dennis Baltz, a financial advisor from White Plains, New York, with ace-8 of diamonds. He calls.
Another ace. There's no place for an ace, Lon.
4, queen, 9, all clubs. Alexander with a pair of 9s. Raymer up and down straight draw. Baltz missed. Baltz checks. Raymer now on a draw. Bets 2,000.
Well, there is Raymer, the aggressor. He's on a straight draw. He has no club in his hand. And I probably don't call if I'm Jason because I got middle pair and I don't have a club either.
Under Raymer's glare, Jason with the call. He has the best hand. Baltz folds.
Well, Jason's smarter than me, and frankly, he should ask Fossil Man to buy him a drink if he's going to look at him that way.
Heads up to the turn. 7 of spades. Raymer gets no help. Missed his draw and he checks.
I wouldn't have minded a bet there from Raymer to go along with his stare down. You know, see what Jason's made of.
Now Jason comes out for 3,000.
I apologize to Jason. He is playing this hand well.
And Raymer gives it up.
Good hand.
Jason's been playing the part of poker ace very well so far, never breaking character even when faced with the Fossil Man stare down.
I have worked with Michael Richards, Faye Dunaway, Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci. You think I'm worried about a guy like Greg Raymer with lizard eyes? So I put these things on. You know what this says? This says I don't need to see the cards because I can't see anything through this. Come on, do I look like a guy who is nervous about his day 2 chances? Do I look like a rock? Unfortunately, this is my poker hand. So. I always say to the pros when they start to sass me, I go, you know, let me just tell you, if I lose to you, no dignity lost, I'm supposed to lose to you. If you lose to me, you will never live this down. So make your decisions very carefully.
Jason wants to get better at poker, but understanding the mathematical aspect of the game, he says, is like dental work to him.
Out in the field, a celebrity who has made the transition to poker player, Oscar nominee and 05 ladies champ, Jen Tilley. She's ahead of the pocket 9s of Christian Jepsen. Jen has 2 pair 8s and 6s. Turn is a queen. No help to Jepsen.
Jepsen can still knock out Tilley with a 5-7, 9, 10, or queen.
It's a lot of outs. The river card is a 7. Jepsen wins with a better 2 pair 9s and 7s. Jennifer Tilley eliminated.
First time Jennifer Tilley has ever made it to day 2 of the main event, and it is a short day. They always take their water when they leave.
Jen's boyfriend, Phil Locke, just bet enough to put his opponent, Yanni Sontula, all in. Action on Sontula.
By the way, in No Limit Poker, it's very important to be able to say after like 4 days of play, and I was never all in once. But I'm not a big believer in that, you know? Where's the excitement in that?
Well, this would put Sontula all in, not Locke, but this would be for most of Phil's chips.
Sontula calls.
Man, you better.
Well, I think I'm a favorite. Am I favorite? Yeah.
Phil with a pair of trays and a flush draw. Sontula with the nut flush draw.
Nice hand.
All right, turn card.
Oh,
it's a 6.
That's a good turn.
He paired up.
Phil needs a king or a 3.
Count it out, kid.
The river card is an 8, and Sontula wins the hand and doubles up through Phil Locke. Phil under 10,000.
I think
You want me to wait for you?
No, I feel like I'm a favorite to last more than 3 hours. That's what I would feel statistically is.
All right. I'll take side action on that.
Jen Tilley knows her man. Nothing like a wager to get Phil's competitive fire stoked. Back inside the Rio poker room, Todd Brunson has just been eliminated.
Good luck.
Doral Brunson went out on day 1. Now Todd on day 2.
Hey, did your sister beat you in the last longer again this year?
Pamela Brunson does win her $1,000 last longer bet with Todd.
You gonna be out too? I'll save you a seat at the bar.
That bar better be pretty well stocked.
Where are you heading to right now?
I'm not gonna wait all night. Let's go. I'll wait one more hand.
I guess Gavin will last one more hand.
No, I'll find.
What's with poker pros' loved ones having no faith in them? First Tilley with Locke, and now Todd with Gavin. Sad.
Gavin's friend Joe Seabach in a hand right now on the river. Action to Joe. H player with aces and 7s and the queen kicker. Seabach will try to win it here with a bet of 7,000. Kelly makes the call. Seabach shows his 7. Kelly shows his 7. A split pot.
There should be no split pots, Lon.
Good call.
They should have a possession arrow in poker.
Now that's genius. Across the room, Joe's father, Barry Greenstein. Uh-oh, he's signing another book.
Barry Greenstein gets knocked out so often, it's turning his book into a bestseller.
Knocked out by Eric Tomberlin.
I got one in 06 from you. So we're hoping to get another one. Thanks,
he's a
good
book
luck.
collector.
Yeah, I wonder how many duplicate signings Barry's had to do. So goodbye to another pro. One of our November 9 will earn that World Championship bracelet. The final table can be seen here on ESPN Tuesday, November 10th. Back to our featured table.
If Jason Alexander wins the main event, I think we will have a bald person boom in poker.
Mark Terry with King 9 of Diamonds. He's a musician from Hamilton, Alabama.
A singer and a songwriter. That's 2 more things I can't do.
He limps in for 400. Albert Manolan, 7-6 of hearts.
Remember, he's a sports writer. That I can do. Not well, but I do it.
He limps in. Jonathan Lewis now in the small blind.
I have nothing in common with that guy. Nothing.
8-7 off suit. He calls. The big blind, Greg Raymer, Queen Jack of clubs.
A la Barry Greenstein, Raymer now gives an autographed fossil to the player who knocks him out of a tournament.
From the big blind, Raymer does check his option, and 4 players will see the flop.
Everybody here looks guilty.
Here we go. The flop is Jack 8-8. Lewis hits big with trip 8s. And he comes out with 1,500. Raymer with 2 pair and well behind.
By the way, I bought a fossil card protector from Raymer. It didn't help me, and he won't give me a refund.
1,500 is the call from Raymer. Terry, 4 diamonds to a flush makes the call.
Terry short on chips. He'll come along.
Manolan, the only one who missed the flop, and he gets out of the way.
Smart sports writer.
3 players will see the turn card. Lewis ahead with 3 8s. Turn card is a Jack. Wow, Raymer hits a full house. Jack's full. Lewis, second best full house.
Raymer turns those percentages around. Lewis no longer can count this pot as his, and Terry's drawn dead.
8's full for Lewis is no good. He checks. Raymer checks.
Lewis could be wary. Raymer slow plays his monster.
Now the Mark Terry on the flush draw checks. Woe is he who hits his flush on the river. And the river card is another diamond. Raymer gets the check mark, but Terry hits that diamond flush. That'll be trouble. Lewis first to act with second best full house. That's 3,500.
Everybody check the turn, so Lewis might think he's best.
12.
Raymer raises with a better full house.
Terry in a bad spot here. He was drawn dead. He made his hand. He's only got about 10 big blinds left, and there's a bet and a raise in front of him for all of his chips.
If he calls, he'll be done, and he does make the call. Lewis now.
Lewis would be getting almost 4-1 on a call here.
He's got a full house and lays it down.
Nice lay down.
Raymer shows his full house, and Mark Terry knows he's been eliminated from the main event. That's a tough beat. You hit the card you're waiting for, only to have it cost you all your chips.
Worst card in the deck for the river. For you, I mean, the worst card you could possibly ask for.
You know, for a moment there, I thought Terry was going to sign one of his songs and give it to Raymer.
The 2004 champ always seems to be right at home in the huge fields and bright lights of the main event. He'll be that much tougher to beat now.
The World Series of Poker, presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Main event.
Back inside the Rio, 14 of the 20 past main event champions who entered this year survived day 1. 7 are playing today, including the 2000 world champ Chris Ferguson, running well here on day 2. Though the 5-time bracelet winner will fold that hand, but it doesn't hurt, I guess, to have Father Donald Closter on the rail.
What time is Mass in the Amazon room?
Nearby, another world champ, all in. He needs the good father. Johnny Chan's shove was called by Matt Woodward. Woodward ahead with pocket 9s. The river card is a queen, no help to Chan, and Johnny Chan is knocked out.
He once ruled the main event, but over the last 15 years or so, Chan has barely made a dent in the main event.
Elsewhere, Mike Matusow on the move, not knocked out, just joining the table of Greg Mueller.
You want me at your table? I've won 1.5 pots today. I'll play them all, right? I mean, how much of this has just been handed to you, by the way?
Mike makes an impression at every poker table, and he certainly made an impression on his good friend Daniel Negreanu in one particular hand at the 2006 Tournament of Champions, as we'll learn in this edition of Deal Me In, brought to you by FullTiltPoker.net.
I was card dead the entire day, and I just worked and worked and worked and worked to try and get myself in position to win.
Here's the flop. It is 6 deuce 5.
It's a good flop to bet. I knew he had like a small pair. I had 2 overs and a gut shot, so I make a small bet at the pot. Daniel called.
Turn card is a jack.
I thought maybe I could win it on the turn with another bet.
35.
I figured when he didn't raise me on the turn, I knew if I made a small bet at the river, it would look like a value bet.
River card is a blank. Negrano with the check mark.
It was just a perfect card to make a small bet. And even he says, you know, that's a good bet.
It's a good value bet. It's a good value bet.
The thing I'm real good at is betting the right amount to convince people you got a hand.
No, he folds this time.
It's just experience and stuff that I've been doing for a long time.
The value bet flop, baby!
Mike was trying to win his second straight Tournament of Champions in. He finished third. It was won by Mike Sexton. Back to our featured table where Greg Raymer is a little bit richer after knocking off Mark Terry. Action beginning on Jason Alexander on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky Pocket Cam. He's got Obama.
Pocket 4s.
That's a lot of money.
He limps in for 500.
I got to assume pocket 4s now is a winning hand most of the time.
I guess so, at least for the next 4 years. Action on Marco Del Duca, 23-year-old from Toronto. He has pocket 5s.
I wonder who our 55th president is going to be.
He raises to 1,500.
Maybe it'll be President Fossil Man.
There you go. Raymer with pocket deuces in the big blind.
Do you remember who our 22nd president was, Lon?
You're calling?
No.
You're calling, I'm calling.
You?
It happened before ESPN was on. I got no idea.
From the big blind, Raymer calls. 3 players will see the flop.
Maybe it was Millard Fillmore.
Deuces against 4s against 5s. Raymer hits a set of deuces in the flop. And he checks. Jason Alexander with pocket 4s.
Jason thinking about doing something stupid.
He checks. Del Duca
25.
Pocket 5s will bet 2,500.
Well, Del Duca tries to seize the moment, but it's not the right moment.
Raymer hit the set on the flop, leaps into action, raises to 7,000.
Have a lovely round.
That means fold.
Del Duca might want to ask for a refund here. I don't think he's going to get it.
He does kick it in.
Good fold. This bet. Good fold.
And Raymer will take that pot.
And he graciously shows his set.
And Raymer's check raise was suspicious, and they folded.
Was I wrong? Should I not have done that?
Unreasonable.
So many little things you can say, just random, you know.
That was my favorite line in all 9 years of that show.
Which line was this?
George was having an affair with the cleaning woman in an office, and the boss called him on it and said, "I understand you're having an affair with the cleaning woman on a desk in your office." And George's response was that wrong? Should I not have done that? Because if anyone had told me when I started here that kind of thing was frowned upon,
Jason Alexander delivers those lines now just as well as he did 18 years ago on Seinfeld.
Over to table 2, someone who's been very entertaining through the years, Chris Ferguson. We've seen him dance and slice bananas with playing cards. Chris has ace-queen right now versus the ace-king of Ken Kelly. Here's the flop, queen, deuce, queen. Ferguson hits trip queens.
As usual, it's better to be lucky than good. And, of course, Chris is usually good.
He's going to lead out with an almost unbeatable hand, makes it 8,000.
Kelly owns a painting business in Northport, Florida.
Now he might paint himself into a corner. He calls here.
Yeah, Kelly's going to trust his read, and his read is that Ferguson did not hit any part of that flop. His read happens to be wrong.
Turn card 7 of hearts. Kelly drawing dead now.
This is where Chris practices his game theory optimal strategy that's well beyond my grasp to figure out the exact right amount to bet.
I would imagine 17,000 is the exact amount to bet.
I'm all in.
Ooh, he's got Ferguson covered.
I call.
The amateur with a really bad read on the world champion, and he will double up Jesus.
God.
And once again, Ferguson plays his opponent perfectly.
Yeah, and he had to have a queen. I don't believe it.
The 2000 main event champ continues to roll up to 145,000 chips here on day 2 of the main event.
Series of Poker presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Main event.
Back at 3-0, Phil Locke is all in pre-flop, trailing the pocket 8s of Tien Show. And the flop, Phil pairs his queen to take the lead.
Someone please page Jennifer Tilly. Locke all in and having fun.
Turn card is a 4 of clubs, Show with a flush draw.
So now Show can knock out Locke with an 8 or a club.
And it's a club on the river. Show wins the hand and knocks off Phil Locke.
That had you going. Okay, rebuy. I'm going to rebuy.
Well, that'll be good for 2010, Phil.
I'll bet you Jennifer Tilly did not go far.
Yep. So Phil Locken's a lousy 09, failing to cash even once. Meanwhile, Vitaly Lunkin, who's had a fantastic 2009 in a big pot on the turn with Samil Doganyalmaz, who's moved all in on him. We're just going to call him Sea-Dog. He's got a king-eye flush, Lunkin a pair of jacks, and a nut flush draw.
Lunkin's won bracelets in back-to-back years and also made the final table of the Horse World Championship this year.
He needs almost 26,000 to call. He does. Sea-Dog shows him the flush. Lunkin on the draw.
Lunkin can still knock out the guy with the unpronounceable name with a river spade.
And there it is. An ace-high flush will win it for Lunkin.
Check. I said flash before, no, the flop race. All in.
Lunkin's been playing good in 09 and running good.
Across the room, Lex Veldhuis has called to put himself at risk. He's got an up and down straight draw. Jonas Danielson leads with a pair of nines. King on the turn.
Lex needs an ace or a 6.
River card is an 8. Not good enough for Lex Veldhuis. Knocked out by Danielson.
Lex's unorthodox play finally called up to him. Almost 30 big blinds left when he called all in on a draw.
Elsewhere, Elia Lesra has been pretty quiet today at his table. Once again, he's watching Keely Madrid and a hand, this time against Farzad Rouhani after the river card.
Keely theatrically waiting for Rouhani to muck. That will irk you if you're in a hand with him.
Is that hand dead?
Not yet.
Has it passed the line? No?
Rouhani doesn't want to look him up, and he doesn't want to give it up.
Keely right in his face.
Likes to stand over his opponent.
Rouhani gives it up, and Madrid shows a bluff.
God. Look at it. Is this a bluff or what? This is the only time I know you bluffed it.
Elia Lesra impressed with that. Keely Madrid living on the edge here at the main event, been hanging in there so far. As we go back to the feature table, prepare yourself, Norman, for the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wild card hand. It's your job, and you at home, to figure out what the player holding the wild card hand has. Action beginning on Jason Alexander. Does he have it? Not the wild card hand, but he has ace-9 of spades.
Oh, well, remember, with his sunglasses on, he can't even see his own cards, so Jason's actually playing his own Jack Link's Beef Jerky wild card hand.
Well, he says he'd rather win a bracelet than an Emmy. Jason raised it up to 1,600.
Raised it blind.
Marco Del Duca with Queen-Jack offsuit makes the call.
Well, I never like calling a raise with Queen-Jack off from middle position. Why?
Now to Raymer in the big blind, and he has the Jack Link's wild card hand.
Man, I can't get into the mind of a world champion. I can barely get into the mind of a meter mate.
But you're going to have to try.
Raymer could have a wide range of hands from the big blind, getting 4-1 on a call here. I'm going to put him on baby-suited connectors.
All right, the flop is deuce, ace-5, all clubs.
Nice flop for baby connectors if they're 3-4 of clubs.
Alexander with top pair. Raymer first to act. That's 2,500.
Forget baby connectors for Raymer. If I'm Jason Alexander, I know Fossil Man can be aggressive, so now I'm thinking Raymer's got a club draw or maybe just middle pair.
6.
And with top pair, Jason raises to 6,000. Del Duca folds.
I like that raise from Jason. He should be able to find out if he has the best hand here.
Raymer needs 3,500 more to make the call. And he does just that.
Well, he just calls, so I'm thinking now that Raymer has a club draw. Oh, and don't forget, Jason's playing blind. He doesn't even know what his own hand is.
All right, turn card is another club, this time a king. That's 4 clubs on board.
That is not a card Jason Alexander wanted to see with his pair of aces.
Raymer reaching. He's got the orange and yellow chips, and that equals 13,000.
That's 2/3 of the pot, and if I'm Jason, I'm thinking, if Raymer's got a club, I'm drawn dead. I'd have to muck.
And he does muck. Raymer will take the pot.
I obviously had the best hand already, though.
And he had it on the flop.
The only thing good about that card is I now was fully confident I had the best hand.
I was half right. He had 2 clubs, not 1. Half right's good for me.
Raymer wins the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wild card hand. Jason handed over a few chips, but it could have been worse. The 04 champ gets a little healthier.
The 2009 World Series of Poker is presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Feed your wild side. And in part by WSOP.com. Get official items for your home poker game at WSOP.com. And PokerStars.net, the world's largest poker site.
Welcome back inside the Rio. Day 2 rolls on.
Too much of a big size for her.
It's 05 world champ Joe Hashem.
How are you?
Very good, champ. How are you?
You look fabulous, as always, and you smell even better. And that is really the mark of a champion. Are you playing tonight?
I'm playing tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Perfect.
Good luck.
All right, baby.
Cheers.
Take care, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Good to see you.
Let's hear it for Joe Hashem.
Yes!
And after visiting with Greg Raymer, Hashem now goes into the gallery and joins Raymer's wife, Cheryl.
Jason rubbing elbows with a couple of world champs. Meanwhile, at table 2, the 2000 world champ in a three-way pot pre-flop. Chris Ferguson with pocket 10s. Steve Weinstein leads with pocket kings. And Aimee Dongstra has king-queen offsuit. The flop 9-6 queen. Weinstein's kings are still ahead. Ferguson did not improve. Dongstra with a pair of queens.
Another one of Chris's skills is quantitative analysis and securities trading, but he's never given me a tip.
Ferguson first to act. He bets 2,400.
Well, I should have given Chris a tip there. Don't bet!
Weinstein now leading with those kings.
All in.
Moves all in. That's his last 15,400. Dongstra now. He has top pair, and he puts it in the muck. Now to Ferguson, who's had a great day, but how lucky does he feel?
Let's see if Chris gets the hint.
Ferguson has Weinstein covered easily, but Ferguson will fold. And Weinstein takes that pot. Champion makes good folds as well. Chris having a very good day, too, so far. Out in the field, 96-year-old Jack Urey has been eliminated.
Maybe I'll do better next year if they let me play.
Well, George Burns booked a gig at Caesars for his 100th birthday. I think we'll see Jack Urey here at the Rio at age 100.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys next year, 97.
Thank you.
Across the room, funny man Brad Garrett and a hand on the flop.
And sleep.
He's toying with Simon Bluen.
I'm here to have fun. I'm here to meet men. I'm here to meet guys. I don't care what happens.
We have similar interests.
Turn card is a tray. Pairs the board.
3,000.
Bluen checked. 3,000 from Brad.
You don't make a lot of guy friends betting the turn.
I guarantee you 3 hours, you will be dancing with me. But in a good way, not like a Krichenko way.
Russian pro Alex Krichenko in the red takes the brunt of Brad's latest salvo. Bluen folds. Brad takes the pot. Back at the featured table, Jason Alexander's having a good day sitting next to Greg Raymer. Action that was on Jonathan Lewis, and he folds. Raymer looks down at a tray and a 5 offsuit. He folds. Jason Alexander with pocket aces.
He needs a better card protector for pocket aces.
15.
Card them with your life.
He's going to raise it up to 1,500, 3 times the big blind. Action folds over to Dennis Baltz. He has pocket 8s.
Pocket 8s are okay, but they don't need a card protector.
He makes the call over to Marco Del Duca with pocket 7s.
With pocket 7s here, you need protection from yourself.
He does. He does make the call. Action folds over to Manolin.
In the big blind.
King 4 offsuit.
Those are ugly cards, but he likes the chips already in the pot. Sports writers can't resist a free lunch.
Cost him 1,000 more to call. He does that. So 3 followed Jason in. How do you like the aces now?
They look doomed.
The flop is 5-6 tray. Jason's still good with his aces. Raymer missed out on 2 pair. Manolin with an up and down straight draw. Checks. Now Jason with the leading aces.
36.
3,600.
Jason would like to get rid of the crumb bums and shoe clerks.
With pocket 8s, Baltz makes the call. Del Duca now. With pocket 7s, moves all in.
Understandable with his overpair to the board and a gut shot.
Marco moves all in for 11,000.
That's 11,008 from Del Duca. Manolin now.
I am no longer responsible for the sports writer if he calls here.
He's open-ended.
He came in with junk. He flopped a straight draw, and he's trying to get really lucky.
Alexander ahead, but sweating.
Call.
Makes the call for 8,200 more. Baltz says goodbye. 3 players will see a turn card.
I tell you, these aces just seem doomed.
Yeah, they do. All right, turn card is another 6. Jason is still best with the aces. Aces up now.
With an all-in player, the other players often will just check it out in this spot.
Manolin does check a missed draw. Jason in good shape here to take down this nice pot. He checks.
Del Duca needs a 4 or a 7 or he's gone.
River Carp is a jack of diamonds. Alexander's aces get the check mark.
It looks like Jason is going to take in a nice-sized pot here.
Manulin checked. Jason checks. He's happy with no more action. Time to open up. Alexander shows the aces. Everyone else comes up second best. Marco Del Duca, worst of all, is knocked off.
Del Duca's gone, but that's a nice zippered sweat top.
Thank you.
So Del Duca will make his exit.
That's the player today.
A lot of bad things could have happened to his aces, but Jason faded them all.
And this is one actor with a lot of day 2 chips.
Kind of a scary board, wasn't it?
That was a really scary board. I was sure somebody had tripped up on that. That was more than my little heart ever wants to see.
Breathe easy, you're in better shape than most. They won some and they lost some, but both the actor and the fossil man will continue day 2 healthy in chips.
You're going to learn some things from me today.
Jason Alexander won't be the only actor in the house. Brad Garrett is still making noise.
I'm wearing a noise.
And although some of the game's best were sent packing,
See you next year.
the field is still full of pros, including this year's breakout star Vitaly Lunkin, Chris Ferguson, and Mike Matisow, who are no strangers to making it deep in big events. Who will keep their main event dreams alive?
Ben!
For Norman Chad, I'm Lon McCarran. More to come from day 2 here at the World Series of Poker.